Live. Hello, everyone. Good
Hello,
evening, good
hello.
afternoon, good morning. So, today we are here to discuss People
Ugh,
Person by Candace Carty Williams. I always say her name wrong.
yes.
Yes. This was our May book for the 20 something book club. And we are a bit late, but it's just how things are run here. So, let's just go with it. So, yes. So first, the rating. What was your rating?
I think it was a 4 star.
Really? Okay.
Oh, oh,
No, I'm not judging.
oh.
But like when I finished the book, I think for me it was like a 3.5.
Yeah.
But since I read it like a month ago, I think it has dropped to a 3. Like the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I think there are more things that I didn't like about the book than the things that I did like.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird for me because I'm not like that critical of a reader. So I'm like, it,
I also am not.
yeah,
Don't get me wrong.
I don't know. I just like, okay, one thing I will say about this book that if we're going with like what we have problems with or what we struggled with, for me, the pacing,
Okay.
um, it it also kind of this is kind of another thing, but um, it kind of felt like it was trying to do too much with the like suspected murder plot line, and like in the beginning it kind of was reading like a thriller where it was like, oh my god, where'd he go, like, or this happened, she escaped it, we thought he was dead, and it was like covering this body, so it was like kind of going somewhere, and then I feel like it just kind of like stagnated.
Yeah, that's a thing that I had with this book. It's just also the fact that it's so unrealistic, I guess. That whole
Yeah,
plot line of like, oh, he slips and falls and she thinks he's dead, but she doesn't even check. Like
yeah,
he was alive, so he was probably like kind of breathing and his heart was beating and she didn't even check. She was just like, I'm gonna call my brothers and sisters and we're gonna like cover up this murder. Like it's
yeah.
just not realistic. I just wish that they like, I know that that was the reason why the siblings all came together, but I wish no, it's you can eat. Go ahead.
Thank you.
But I wish there was another reason why they were brought together, because I just felt like this whole like murder, not really a murder thing was just unrealistic. And also the resolution of it
Hmm.
down the end of the book was just too much. I don't know. It was just it, and also the thing with pacing that you were saying, like halfway through with the book, I was like, oh, so we're not going to talk about her ex anymore and how she tried to cover up his murder. Like it was only brought up like occasionally,
Yeah.
and it was just weird because like the whole point of the book was the relationship between the five siblings, so why not just have something else smaller to make them all come together and just focus on them, like their relationship between the five siblings. I don't know, it was just weird.
Yeah, I kind of feel like what worked for me in the murder being the thing that brought the family or the siblings together was that it was so extreme of an example or something to like connect because of that. It was really interesting to see how each sibling reacted, and kind of see their differences, and like the one twin, I think, what was the main girl, Dimple's twin, Lizzie was
Lizzie,
like
yeah.
the one who was thinking most rationally in terms of like her future and their odds of getting caught, and then like all of them were like getting mad at her for that. um so like
Yeah,
that,
because it was a serious thing. Like they're all
yeah,
like, yeah, let's just cover up this murder like it's a random Tuesday night.
yeah,
Like
like
it's
I thought that was interesting to at least, but it also felt like it reminded me of reading Finley Donovan, and that's kind of like been,
oh, I haven't read that one, so no
no
spoilers.
spoilers, but my problem with Finley Donovan is that it was kind of, like, hailed as, like, this really light comedic, story about, like, a woman who accidentally, like, gets herself into this situation, but it actually, like, had a lot more darker undertones for me that, like, didn't feel so comical. So I was like, "Oh, well, I'm kind of excited to see that here because, like, we're talking about domestic violence and, like, obviously intergenerational trauma," but it just, like, never came together, um, or it was trying to do too much, and it was just yeah.
Yeah, and then it had like revenge porn in the middle.
Yeah, and
And I was
also
just like, what is going on? Like, this is doing too much, like this whole plot line.
yeah,
I wanna know the siblings. Like that was my favorite part of the book was
yeah,
like the relationship between them and how fleshed out they were. Like they were all so different and I could picture them in my head and how they
yeah.
like how to oh my god, I'm losing the word. What was the word I was gonna say? How they interacted between one another.
Yeah,
um but yeah, I just wanted the book to focus a lot more on that, and it did, but also like there were two plot lines, and one of them was
yeah,
initially the main one, and then it kind of like fizzled out, and it was brought up like at the end and a little bit in the middle, but it was just like pointless. It was
yeah.
just
It
a
felt
means to an end, I guess, for them to
yeah,
all come together.
it
And
felt
yeah,
like a lot, just being thrown at you, like, throughout the course of the book, and, because I think I really liked the characters, and I thought, like,
yeah,
that was easy to buy into, like, they immediately had this dynamic that they were going through these experiences, that was, like I kinda I bought into, like, that's how they each character would react, but it just felt like too much over a certain period of time, but I do kinda feel like the other side of that is, like, there's so many ways that this book connects to, like, modern life that it hits the nail on the head so many times. It was, like, pointed, it feels.
yeah.
And, like,
But in what conversations?
Dimple as an
Okay, as a
influencer,
social media, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that was really interesting, and then, Cyrus as kinda like an absentee father, um, and, even Danny, who was, like, formerly incarcerated, and oh my god, Dimple's relationship with her mother, and Dimple is, like all of these
Oh my
siblings
god,
were
yeah.
just so interesting. Dimple's
So
relationship
interesting,
with
yeah.
her mom, and all of their moms particularly were, like I there was so much everything was packed about this book, and I really respected it, but it didn't always work.
Yeah. I felt like the if it didn't have the whole plot line of the murder, this would have been like a 4.55 star book.
Yeah.
Definitely, because it had everything there. The characters were so interesting. Um it was just doing too much, I feel like. And
Yeah.
the more I think about the book, the more I feel like, yeah, it was just too much going on. And especially because like the plot of the murder wasn't just, it was literally the plot of the book. I think it's, yeah, I think it's like the main thing of the book.
Yeah.
And it's what you were saying before, like it felt like a thriller at first, but
Yeah.
then it wasn't, and I actually enjoyed more the part that it wasn't a thriller. So yeah, it was doing too much, this book.
The murder or, like, the domestic violence part of it kinda kickstarted the book,
Yeah.
and I thought it because, like, I picked this up so in May,
Hmm.
when I picked this up or, like, towards the end of May when I picked it up, I had just, um, traumatic
Oh, we're losing Casey.
whenever can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you now, but we lost you for a second.
Sorry. It's
It's fine.
storming outside, so, um,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh.
Um,
Oh.
Oh no. Okay, well we'll try our best.
No, it's fine now. Speak.
So for work we had a conference on traumatic brain injury and domestic partner violence.
Mhm.
And so that was really fresh on my mind and like how serious of a topic it is. So like when it starts off with domestic partner violence and like you have like this like very uh detailed on page scene of like him going to murder her or
Yeah.
trying to. And then it kind of like fumbles and she ends up defending herself and like it turns into this really serious situation. And then I feel like it, I mean, I don't know the right way to handle that situation, but and it might be realistic the depiction of it, but it felt like that was not the most important part of the story, but it felt like for it to kick off that way, it should be the center of it.
Yeah. I don't remember the all the details of the book that well, but does she ever have that conversation with her siblings about how her boyfriend was to her, or not really through
I
like
don't
the rest
think
of the
so.
book?
I think it was kind of hinted that he was slimy and to like he only wanted sex, but I
Yeah.
don't think they went into much more detail than that.
Yeah. It was just kind of like a footnote to the story.
Yeah. I'm trying to turn on a light. Oh, you know what? There's one right here. It didn't do much, but it did something.
Yeah, but it's really dark outside. Oh my
I
God.
know, yeah, because it's
Yeah.
pouring.
It's weird because here, like, there's some kind of heat wave, so it's completely the opposite. Like, I'm sweating my ass off.
Oh my god, it's been
It's
so
so
cool
hot.
here.
Yeah.
Like unseasonably cool. Like we don't even have the air conditioning turned on, which
Oh
is
my
like
God.
usually from the end of May till September we have the AC on here.
Yeah. No.
Anyways.
um, yeah. What did you think about Cyril? Is that how you
Oh yeah,
actually
yeah,
read
yeah. Oh, did
his
I say
name?
Cyrus?
I think
Cyril.
it's
Yeah.
Cyril or Cyril or I don't know.
Um,
Yeah,
I thought he was an interesting character. It was easy to hate him.
it
But
was.
I didn't feel like it was as profound as I wanted it to be. Or
Really?
yeah, I mean, I think it like came together. Like you could see how he like the kids kind of learned that he had a hard upbringing,
Yeah.
and it kind of made sense why he wasn't made or he didn't know how to be a good dad because he didn't have any good parents looking out for him. So like he
Yeah.
didn't know how to model that. So I thought that was interesting. Um, like it was a satisfying ending, but it just didn't blow me away. It was just like, yeah, that makes sense.
But I like that even though they realized that their father had a hard time, they didn't really excuse him. They were still like,
Yeah.
yeah, but it was still shitty that he wasn't part of our lives.
Yeah.
So I did like that. There's a bug like
Yeah.
circling me. I'm sorry. But
Get
yeah,
Kit
I did
Kat.
like that. What? Sorry?
Get Kit Kat.
He's sleeping. Like,
Kit
get the
Kat.
bug. But yeah, I did like that. As you said, it was really easy to hate him. Like when
Yeah.
he came to Dimple to ask for money, I was just like, man, no, no. You keep
That
like,
was
yeah,
and I was so mad that Dimple gave it to him.
yeah.
I was like, what are you doing? Don't do
But
this.
at the same time, I didn't like Dimple that much.
Yeah.
So like she was really annoying. It like she had a lot going on. But still there were some actions like that one. For example, it was just like, what are you doing, girl? It's really
Yeah.
hard, really easy to also don't like not sympathize with you
Yeah.
sometimes.
Especially when you have Dimple contrasted with her oldest sister, who
Yeah.
um had a mother herself and her their youngest brother.
What was her name? Nikisha or
Yeah, I think it
it
was
was something?
Nikki. Yeah, Nikisha.
Yeah. She
So
was the best.
she was the one who like had her shit together,
Yeah.
And like obviously she had her shit together as a trauma response of not having anyone to do it for her when she was little.
Yeah.
But it was just like you saw how Nikki like overcompensated and was like rough around the edges and maybe abrasive and not like empathetic or like sensitive to other people who didn't grow up the same way as her. And then you saw like
Yeah.
Dimple who like was too cushioned or protected or sheltered and like struggled with every little thing. And it was just like such an extreme contrast. I thought it was so interesting and how they clashed. And Dimple was so infuriating. She
She
reminded
was.
she reminded me of a lot of like she should not have been 30. She's a Gen Z baby. She should be 22.
Was she 30?
She was like 30, 31, yeah.
I thought she was like my age or
No,
something.
she should. That's what. Yeah. Oh my god, I'm losing. Hello.
Are you okay?
Yeah. I think it says this like on the first page of or something.
Really?
Um. Yeah, Dimple, Cyril's middle child, now 30, sat at her dressing table.
Oh my god.
First page of chapter 2.
Okay.
So she's 30 and her mom like isn't like knows when her period cycle. Do you remember that part?
No?
Yeah, she lied to her mom about why she was being so weird and like acting differently, and she was like, "Oh, I'm just on my period," and her mom was like, "Wait, but you're not due for another 2 weeks."
Her mom is crazy.
Her mom was it was scary.
Yeah, she was. Oh my god, I just remembered when they were trying to cover up the murder, her neighbor was like trying to like find like what they were doing and stuff.
Yeah, her
Was that
neighbor was
ever
Karen.
like her name was Karen?
No, no. I said she was a Karen.
Oh my god. If her name was Karen, that would be so funny. But no, did they like she comes up like once, right? And then she never comes up again. Or does she come up again?
She like appeared in a couple more scenes, but then like she just kind of like faded into nothingness, you know?
Okay. Yeah. Kind of like everything at the beginning of the book was kind of fading into nothingness
Yeah.
throughout the book. Comparing it, like I haven't read Queenie. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
worse than Queenie, or is it better?
Um, I
It's
would say
different,
they're
probably.
so different because
Yeah.
Queenie, you follow one character and you kind of like, what the fuck is Kit Kat doing?
He's just sitting on the table. He looks kind of scary like that.
He might have been like
Wait.
licking his paw or something, but he was like doing some weird body action.
Like I was trying to show you, but like we're in complete darkness here because it's so hot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, just like we can
Oh,
turn on the light, but we just want to be in
yeah,
complete darkness, just so we don't have to turn on our fans and stuff. We don't have AC in our house, so it's just fans and that's it.
dude. Wait, is that like normal in Portugal to not have AC?
It depends, but like at my parents' house, I had AC. It's just it really depends
Rip,
on the house. But
rip,
yeah,
rip,
this
rip.
house doesn't, so great.
Oh, oh.
um. Anyway, what was I saying before Kit Kat interrupted us?
Sorry.
I think
Um,
he's trying to catch the bug. Oh my god.
yeah, get it, Kit Kat.
I don't
He
know if
looks
it's
like
the
one.
same bug, but hopefully it is. Anyway, what were we saying?
Cyril book, the dad.
No, we were talking about like the mom and
Oh
then oh
yeah.
no, we were talking about Queenie.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're so different.
Yeah.
Because like Queenie, she is like going through a hard time and making bad choices for herself.
Okay.
And you kind of follow her through that period.
Hmm.
But I think I liked Queenie more because it was like you got to know one character really well as opposed to like knowing a whole bunch of characters like kind of shallowly.
Yeah.
Like I feel like in some ways I know them really well, but you only got to see limited amounts of them instead of like an
Yeah.
entire book. Um, and it was weird too because like even though in the book you follow all of these characters, I felt like Dimple and Nikki were really the main ones.
Yeah.
Um,
True.
and honestly, I think Dimple was not that she was the least interesting, she was just like the least exciting to follow. Like I think Lizzie would have been more interesting. She's more
That's
likable.
true. Yeah. But also at the same time, like the youngest sibling, Prince, he was also kind of like, I don't know,
Yeah.
the least interesting, I think, to me.
Well, Prince really hit home for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Hi, Steph.
Oh, hi, Steph.
Why did it hit home?
Well, Prince was a pothead, and
Okay. We're
um,
starting off well.
yeah. Self-awareness is something I have a lot of, and a lot of times he was like, "If I'm not high, what do I have to offer?" Blah blah blah, and like he
Yeah.
just really, he would just out of nowhere just have like these really like deep quotes about like existentialism and like coping with uh, drugs, and I was just like, "You did not need to do this. This was uncalled for." Um, but he was annoying in some ways, but I thought that was like a niche way to hit home in a way that not many characters like do.
Yeah, because like what I felt with him was that every time, other than like inspirational quotes, like you were saying, like really
Yeah,
like poignant quotes that he said, when he, like other than that, he was just like saying bullshit most of the
he
time.
was just there. He was just high in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
basically. Yeah.
yeah,
And like talking too much.
yeah,
Like he needed to be a little more like Danny, was this his name?
yeah,
Um
yeah,
because he was really quiet, and when he talked, he had something to say.
yeah.
Like Prince was just like, I'm just gonna talk for the hell of it, and I was just like, no, because I'm not like that at all. So like, yeah,
Yeah.
that
Um.
annoyed me, but I get how it could hit home for you. Hello.
Oh. Oh.
Hi. It's too hot for you to be on my lap. I'm sorry.
He was like, Stephanie said hi.
Oh my god, yeah. Like he's stepping on my keyboard.
Oh.
Baby, I'm sorry you can't be here. Oh, he's too hot. Like he has a lot of fur. Anyway, I never get to catch these anymore. Yeah, you should. But also we don't have like really I guess fixed
Yeah.
schedules, like days, anything, like
We don't
nothing.
really announce it either. Like,
Like I literally announced it this morning when I woke up. So
yeah,
like,
so
yeah.
not on you, Steph. We just like, yeah, we have
Oh
like a
my,
book club, but we're the only ones who like do it.
yeah. We're like, you just have to be inside our heads to know
Yeah,
when the live shows are happening. Other
yeah.
than that, you just have to guess, I guess.
That's it's not up to us. That's just how the people upstairs want it to be.
Yeah,
We're just doing
true.
it. We're doing what they told us.
We used to be a lot better actually at scheduling live shows.
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah, yeah. We can talk about that later.
We can. Anyway, do you have any like quotes? I marked like one page, I think, or two.
Hmm.
Um yeah, one of them was on page 168 on my edition. I don't know if it's the same for you. It's when they're at Princess Party, I think.
Okay.
Um and It's the music in the house was so loud, and watching her brother's friends dancing to it and filming each other instead of dancing together and talking to each other made her feel old, even though she only had 5 years on them. Okay, so Prince was my age. Okay, great. Maybe the subconscious aversion to influencer culture was why she hadn't even properly blown as one. It wasn't that she wasn't grateful for the flurry of attention and activity that came from what happened to Chiron, but it wasn't that she was either. And it's just like this, um what she says about influencer culture, it kind of like didn't align with her beliefs. I don't know. I feel like this quote, I just highlighted it because it just didn't feel like it aligned with Dimple as a character, because she was really into like becoming an influencer, and she was always on her phone and posting online even when she clearly didn't have to. Like the whole thing with Kyron, the first thing
Oh
she
my
kind
god.
of did was go on
Yeah,
was post a
literally.
video about it, and it was
Yeah.
just like, but at the same time she's like, oh, the like my brother's friends are all on their phone instead of dancing, and it's just like, bitch, you
Yeah.
do the same. Like you would probably do the same if you were their age.
Yeah,
I
like
guess
you
it's
almost
just
murdered someone and then went on YouTube to talk about it.
like literally what.
Yeah.
It was just like our self-awareness, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just weird for me.
Um,
It was kind of out of character. I don't know if the author was trying to make a point about like people being constantly on their phones and stuff, but like it just didn't feel right coming out of Dimple's mouth, I guess.
yeah, it's interesting because I highlighted, I think, so our books don't match up.
Okay.
Um, but I think in the same chapter, I highlighted a part that said, um, it's on page 150 for me, so it might be
Okay.
around there for you, or around where you are right now,
Yeah.
like 160. Um, so she goes, she didn't remember laughing much when she was 25. It was all intense heartache and trying to figure out who she was. That was when the obsession with being an influencer had begun. That was when she decided that projecting an image of herself to the world would protect her from how harsh the world was. Um,
Yeah. That's a few pages before the one I
okay.
was reading. Yeah.
So I thought that was a really interesting, or like that I thought said a lot about her, and I thought like kind of spoke to a lot of like I think um current like our people our age's use of social
Yeah.
media. um and it's like this compulsive desire to like add your voice to the mix. Like everyone's voice is out there and you're like, I need to put mine out there, mine needs to be heard too. But then
Yeah.
like sometimes you have to step back and be like, does it need to be there? And she's like seeing that with Prince. So it's like weird in like this whole chapter, she's kind of like she's reflecting a lot. Maybe this is
Yeah.
the turning point for Dimple where she's like, hmm,
What am I doing?
yeah, literally.
um yeah, I feel like that thing about adding our voice to the mix, is it like, I was thinking, is it because it's a lot easier to be famous nowadays? You could just like
Mhm.
post something online and suddenly become famous. Is it our need to be known, or is it just, thank you?
Oh my god,
Thank
don't hype
you.
us up.
Wow. I feel very like on spot right now. Thank you. Anyway, is it because we want to be famous? We see a lot of people doing that around us, like normal people, and we just want that? Or
Well, we're not used to having someone participate.
yeah, exactly. Or is it just because there's there's a possibility for us to share
Yeah,
with more people than usual, than just our friends and family, and we want to express ourselves?
yeah. I
I
think
don't
it's
know.
it's a mix of like that, and I think a little bit too of it's also narcissism. But I think like that's not like
True.
it's like because you see other people do it and you're like, I can do that too, but I'm also funny. Or like I have something to offer. It's like a little bit of that too, where you're like, I need
Yeah.
to like make my way into this space because like
Yeah.
I'm special or I have something different to offer. And
Yeah.
but
We're
it's
all
also
just special little snowflakes, aren't
yeah.
we?
And it like kind of it like helps us deal with like maybe like in-person rejection because it's like
Yeah.
I have so many followers online.
Here,
I don't have to be real in person because I can just be on the internet.
yeah,
Yeah, and
it
like that
helps with the fear of rejection too. Exactly.
yeah.
If you can don't want to connect.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
that is kind of like Dimple, where she
Yeah.
puts on this artificial like mask for people to see on the internet and then like in real life it's literally just shambles.
Yeah. Yeah, she was definitely putting on a mask.
Yeah.
Um yeah. But I her reaction to like doing something so
Yeah.
like I don't know, it was just weird that reaction of like I'm gonna post a video about it. It's like a barrier of protection.
Mhm.
Yeah, true.
I'm my truest self. And that's yeah, that's also like kind of scary too.
But are we though?
I wouldn't say I am for sure. Not.
I wouldn't say I am as
Yeah.
well.
But like I think that's the difference between like
It's
maybe
people
consumer
person,
versus
by the way.
like consumer culture versus like not to call us influencers because like but
Yeah.
like people who make content versus people who consume it. But like I think if you have like some sort of an internet presence, it's hard to be to show like yourself authentically on the line because like everything's
Yeah, of
curated.
course. Yeah. Like because you're thinking about what you're saying. It's the same thing with like social settings.
Yeah.
It's really hard to be yourself, especially when you're not like 100% comfortable with
Yeah.
like I this is therapy right now, but like I feel like
Ooh.
I'm not my truest self with most of my friends. Which is
Wow.
sad.
Yeah.
Which is sad. Like I just feel like I don't know. It's really because like when you're in a social setting then you're trying to be authentic but at the same time you're kind of performing. I don't know. Any social interaction is kind of a performance. I feel like you're only your truest self maybe with yourself. Is that too much or I don't know.
Or is that enough?
Maybe.
No, I totally agree. I feel like in my life, I feel like there's only been a few people who I've ever felt like I can be my truest self with, but like still, when I'm with them, I'm like, am I just like that when I'm with you? Or
Exactly. That's
like,
what I was trying to get at.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, different people see different versions of me, I
Yeah.
feel like.
Because like in the moment, I'm not like, oh, I'm not being my truest self. But when I step back, I'm like, what I said there, is that
Yeah,
me or is that also my reflection of other people?
yeah. Oh my God, I've actually talked about this a lot in therapy and
I know.
like my therapist and I like we've done sessions where she's just like, okay, well, let's figure out who you are. What are
Yeah,
your values? What does it mean to be you? Blah 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 blah. Like it's this book has that like that kind of mind fuckery of it where it's like
yeah,
you don't really know who these people are. You just know like them through
true.
this in these snippets of interaction with
Yeah,
their siblings who they're meeting for the first time or the second time.
yeah. But I feel like even though they're kind of like meeting for the second time or whatever, I feel like they were very real
Yeah.
towards one another. They were like maybe it's because they have like that sibling bond and they had like the absentee father, but they were just like, here's me out in
Yeah.
the open. Maybe Dimple wasn't as much, and also Lizzie.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because they were like born at the same time and it was just kind of always a competition between them. But they were kind of like guarded. But the other sibling, and also Danny, but like Danny is because of what happened to him,
Hmm.
the fact that he was in prison and all that. Maybe it was just like the two like actual, the two like real siblings, Nikisha and Prince. They were like very open. I'm like thinking because I don't know if they were, because I felt like they were just really comfortable around each other, the five siblings, but they weren't
Yeah.
super open, I guess.
I think Prince was comfortable with being vulnerable with the siblings,
True.
and
Yeah.
that's like what we saw of him.
Yeah.
And I think like the difference with Nikisha and Dimple is like I think Dimple was able to kind of get into like this um meta like existential crisis about herself on the internet because of like the cushiony environment she grew up with. Whereas like Nikisha like didn't have that. So she's not worried about like her internet presence or how the world views her, what she's putting online. She doesn't have that kind of like existence or presence or whatever because
Yeah.
it's like her mind has always just been about surviving.
Yeah. True. And she was also kind of like a mother to her little
Yeah.
to Prince. And she had to grow up faster
Yeah.
and just kind of like have that responsibility and all of that.
She's kind of
Um
just like continuously cleaning up Cyril's messes.
yeah, she's like a caretaker
Yeah.
always. Like
I
she
feel
was to Prince and then to Dimple, and yeah, she was just like the glue that made them all like work together, I guess.
yeah.
um I was gonna ask you something and then I forgot.
Do you have any more quotes that you like?
Oh yeah, that was it. I wasn't gonna
Ooh.
ask you anything. I do have, I don't know if it's a quote. Oh yeah, it's just like something that I thought was interesting. I actually don't remember the details of this. Oh, it was also on um, Prince's birthday, so it's a few pages before what I read before. I don't know what page that is on your edition, but it's just, oh my god, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Oh my god. So it's, why didn't he ever come to her birthdays? Dimple wondered. Was it that her mother had never invited him? Even so, he could have tried to come around. It didn't seem fair that he was here. Maybe he just liked Prince and Nikisha more. Maybe he liked their mother more than he liked Janet. But if that was the case, why would she have been the one to suffer? I just thought that was really kind of sad. Like felt sad for Dimple because of
yeah.
that. Because like she will never have answers for that, I guess.
It's like a very, it sounds like a child.
Yeah,
Like, and it's like the child in her is still very hurt by her
yeah,
dad not being there for her.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I thought that was, they showed that in all of them so well.
yeah,
Like you could see like the scar left in all of these kids from Cyril.
yeah.
Um, Also, do you remember the part when Dimple stayed over at Lizzie's apartment and they were talking about
I
the dream?
do kind of, but yeah,
So
go ahead.
another part that I really liked was kind of there was a little bit of like a subplot of like Lizzie and Dimple like kind of being combative towards each other, maybe Lizzie being more combative towards Dimple.
Yeah,
And there's this point where Lizzie saying that, or like they're in Lizzie and her girlfriend's apartment, and like I guess they have like windows where you can see the trains go by, and Lizzie was seeing like saying that she likes to just sit there and watch the trains.
Yeah.
Um, and Dimple goes, um, wait. Oh yeah, so Dimple is saying that whenever she sees trains, she likes to think about how many different lives are inside the carriage. Every person in that carriage is someone different, someone different going somewhere different. I think the same thing about high rises. Behind every light is a life, and there are so many lives different from mine. Helps me to remind me not to always be in my head so much. And then Patrice responds to her and says, "Me and you." Patrice is the girlfriend.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Me and you don't see the world the same way. When we first came to this place, I was put off by the train tracks because they're so close. It's like the platform is on the balcony. I didn't understand it. And imagine Lizzie didn't even care about wanting privacy. But I was convinced that every person who went past us would be logging everything we were up to." Um, and then she keeps going. But I just thought it was like um, really interesting, like this discussion of privacy and how all three of them saw it so differently. And I
Yeah.
thought it was just like a really great like metaphor for like three things all can be true at the same time. Like one
Yeah.
person can be comfortable with that for a good reason. Another person can be really uncomfortable with that for also like good reason.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it was just a good reminder. I think like that's the lesson of this, or a lesson of this book that I'm going to take away from is like sometimes I'm quick to like judge myself or try and gaslight myself out of my own opinions, but it's like no, things can be true. Not there's not like one universal experience or one
Yeah.
universal answer. Um, and I also thought like it was interesting how Dimple viewed privacy when she put so much she didn't like in that instance where a lot of people would be concerned about privacy, she's not. She thinks
Yeah.
about like, sharing stories and connecting and people like and that's kind of that stands up with how she interacts with the internet.
Wait, but remind me, what was Liz's? Oh my god, Liz. Oh my god, I can't say her name. Liz. What was her reason to want to be close to the trains? Because I feel like there was a reason why she wanted to be in that apartment, right?
Yeah, she said, oh, you're a train Patrice goes, oh, you're a train spotter like Lizzie. And then the other one, Dimple, is like, what do you mean? And then Patrice is like, I feel like the main reason she wanted to live here is so she could watch those trains go by. You and her
Oh,
have that
okay.
in common as well.
Okay, it was just to watch the trains go by. Okay, I thought there was like a bigger reason for that. Yeah.
If there was, I forgot it.
Yeah. No, I think that was it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I lived by a train track my whole life, and I just wasn't like I knew there was a train going by, but I just kind of like forgot about it. Like I wouldn't hear the train going by, if you know what I
Right.
mean. And it went by like every 10 minutes, but I just like I was so used to it. It just
Yeah.
didn't cross my mind to ever like look at the train going by, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah. But it can be maybe it can be comforting. I don't know.
Well, I think the way I kind of pictured it was like, I don't know if this was your experience, but it was like she could sit on her couch and watch the train going by. Was it
Yeah,
like
that
that
wasn't
for
my
you?
experience.
Okay.
No, it was just like at the end of my street, there
Oh,
was a train track. So it wasn't like super close. I couldn't see the people. But from my room, I could see the train going by.
oh,
Yeah,
wow. Okay.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I never noticed the train going by because it was just like like a constant noise because it was like every 10 minutes, and it just became a part of my life, I guess.
Yeah.
I didn't really hear it. Well, I did hear it when I was trying to film videos. It was really frustrating.
Oh my god, of course.
I would be like, okay, let me just be quiet for a second.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I like trains, so it probably can be comforting to like look out the window and look at the trains go by and wonder about the people inside. Yeah, that can be fun.
It kind of reminded me of did you see the movie The Girl on the Train? Or The Woman in the
I read the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like it's like the reverse of that where she like watches.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe there was someone doing their commute every day by that train and seeing Lizzie and Patrice.
That's what I'd be scared about. Because I would be the person in that train keeping tabs on people.
Yeah.
Just because I'm nosy. And I do that by nature.
Yeah, true. But actually, like I rode the train for a real like I went to university and I had to ride the train like every day. And I didn't really look inside of people's houses.
That's good.
Even when like the houses were really close and I could actually see inside, I just didn't bother. Maybe I'm just not nosy enough.
There's time to fix that.
True. Maybe I need to be more nosy.
Yeah. And then you're young.
Yeah.
Maybe the neighbors just weren't that interesting.
Maybe.
Because it's like
Just like old people.
if it's in my face, really. Like if I see
Yeah.
like who lives there and like if it's a cute moment or something or like a baby or a dog, I'll like remember those moments and then like
Yeah.
keep notes in my mind. You know?
And then when you go by again, you like check
Yeah.
on the dog or whatever.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, is the baby out? You know?
Yeah. Do you have any more like quotes or moments from the book?
Nothing that I actually did tab a lot of it. I thought like a lot of it was interesting, or I thought there was just a lot of like I don't know, a lot of nice quotes.
Yeah.
The characters, there was a lot of like analysis that you could do with the characters and a lot of moments that were really revealing. Like I feel like without spelling it out for you, Candace Carty Williams like kind of did.
Yeah.
So and I really liked the way she did it because it was like it was there, but it wasn't like hit you in the head like that obvious.
Yeah.
So I think this is like it's a book I wouldn't unhaul it.
No, I also wouldn't.
Yeah. Like it stands up to me. That's why like it's above average. Like it might not be your favorite, but you're gonna else you won't regret reading it, I think. You know.
Yeah, I don't think so as well. Also, I'm curious to read Queenie now because I haven't still.
Yeah. It's
Is the audiobook good? Do you know it?
That's how I read it. I really loved the audiobook.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm gonna pick up the audiobook then. Another thing that I wanted to ask you, like, because when I finished the book, I tried to find it, but then I couldn't because it's a big book. But I remember that Prince said that Dimple was a people person, but kind of in a negative way in the middle of the book. And she like really took it to heart. And then it came back at the end and he was like, wait, I think I have that like annotated or something.
Yeah.
But I just don't remember how he said it at first that she was a people person. Like I remember it was with a bad connotation, but I just don't remember how and why she took it so personally. But then at the end, he says, I think that you're a people person in the way that you get people. You see people and like properly see people. You see us, you see who we all are in our own way, and you don't judge us for it. You don't ask people to be who they aren't. I think many people are like that. So yeah, I rate it. But I just don't I then I couldn't relate back to the initial moment. So I just didn't I wanted to find it and I tried to find the initial moment and what he actually said, but I couldn't. So yeah, it was kind of sad for me.
But I still don't see Dimple in that way.
That's also true. That is also true. I see Nikisha that way.
Yeah.
I think Nikisha is really like she sees people and she tries to understand them, and she accepts them. But I don't I don't see Dimple that way as well. But it was a nice quote. I liked it.
Yeah. I like seeing like the nod to the title, or like because you don't
Yeah,
know, I don't
same,
know what came first. But
same.
like the inception of the title, I think that's cool. But I think that's another thing where it kind of goes back to like that could be true in Prince's mind, but it doesn't mean it has to be true for our perception of her.
True. Yeah, that's true.
She,
But like, I feel like she didn't redeem herself that well for him to think that way.
no, yeah.
Oh well.
And it's like kind of annoying for him to do that when like Nikisha does all that she does, and like does she get that same acknowledgement or recognition from him?
Hopefully so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think Dimple was that like person that he said she was. But yeah, I will still try to find that part. I think it was at his party.
Yeah.
No? But I tried to find it and I couldn't because I wanted to see what he actually said. Because he probably, oh, he said, oh, you're a people person. And then he explained the
Yeah.
like something bad, but I just don't remember what. But anyway, yeah, I love seeing the titles of the books in the book. When
Yeah.
it's like explained, I'm just like, oh, I love it. The
Yeah.
same with movies. It's so satisfying. Yeah.
Ugh, so good. But yeah, that
Yeah.
that was people person.
That was People Person. I guess that's it. Do you have anything else to say?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so that was our book for May, even though we're in June. And our June book, I
Ooh.
actually took off the dust jacket because I'm going to start reading it tonight. So that's exciting. So our book for June is Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. You can't really see that, but actually Rebecca F. Kuang, sorry. But
Slut.
yeah, super excited to read this one. Have you read it
Not yet.
already?
Not
Not
yet.
yet. Okay. I thought like
I thought, yeah.
as a Poppy War stan, I thought you had already read it actually.
Well, I am a stan of the Poppy War, but I didn't love Babel.
Oh, I
So
didn't know that.
yeah, I mean, I didn't hate Babel. I just, it's a book that's just not for me. So
Honestly, it sounded very boring.
it,
That's why I didn't even consider picking it up. But this one just sounds amazing, so
yeah,
I'm so excited.
yeah. So I still pre-ordered it. I think I haven't been like dying to get
Yeah,
to it. So
that's fine. We're
yeah,
gonna love this one, I bet. So
yeah. We'll have a conversation about it.
yeah. Also I don't have the book here with me, but our nonfiction baddies book club pick for June and July. No,
I think
May.
it's May and June.
May and June. Oh yeah, May and June. Will be Making Love with the Land by Joshua. Can you help me?
I think it's Joshua Whitehead.
I think it is, but I hope I'm not saying it right, wrong actually. So yeah, Making Love with the Land and Yellowface
Yes.
will be our next books to discuss on Casey's channel. Hopefully, not too long after this one.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe in the next coming weeks. So yeah, we're gonna discuss about that next. So yeah, thank you all so much for joining us. I will leave on this note with our inspiration.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining us and for sharing with us. And we'll see you in a few weeks.